We also are very proud here in Peel Region to have a very vibrant business community that is the core for here in Peel. Logistics, transportation, anything outside of Los Angeles. We're one of the biggest municipalities for such a thriving business. And it is absolutely our responsibility to make sure that we respond and end this trend. As a result, the public would be aware that on December 20th, here in Peel, we announced the establishment of an extortion investigative task force. And this team is comprised of approximately 23 specialized members from here in Peel Regional Police. They're a combination of policing operations, criminal investigations, and our investigative and emergency services team. And can I tell you, they are a remarkable set of individuals who are very talented, that have all come together, that are working tirelessly. The creation of this team is for two main purposes. First and foremost is to protect this community and protect the feeling of safety that is so vibrant and needed here, as well as to prevent any future acts of violence. I need to tell you, this is a non-negotiable for us. Anyone targeting this community will not be tolerated at all. The second main objective is to identify and hold the individuals that are involved responsible and accountable. Again, our police service will not accept that. Since we started this task force, and in that same period of time, this extortion investigative team has been working tirelessly for these two objectives. And I am pleased that we will be able to share some of the outcomes thus far. Some of the members of the team are here, and Superintendent Thompson will be able to speak to that. I do want to highlight that there are similar trends that we've been seeing in Alberta and as well as lower mainland British Columbia, as well as in certain locations in the U.S. Our investigative team continues to liaise and work with our respective police agencies on a national and international basis to ensure that we are continuing to share information in a way that is responsive to this complex set of extortions that we're seeing, as well as the volume of incidents. I want to highlight that our response immediately to these trends here in Peel Regional Police was to establish a team to investigate it, which has now become a model adopted by other police agencies right across this country. Today, we'll be discussing a specific investigation which has included the arrest of 4 people and the seizure of firearm, ammunition, cash, numerous computers, and approximately 50 cell phones. Those people are charged with 2 separate extortion incidents here in Peel Region and the related offenses. The team has also arrested a 5th individual for a separate extortion incident. This now brings the total number of charges laid by the Extortion Investigative Task Force here in Peel to 24 charges. I need to say that despite the success that the team is seeing, our work is far from done, and we will continue to devote the necessary resources to keep this community safe and prevent this trend from continuing. As I said earlier, we will continue to work with our partner agencies on a provincial and a national level to continue to share information gleaned. I want to encourage the community that's being affected. They need to know that this police service will not tolerate it. The response you've seen thus far is an indication of how seriously we're taking it here in Peel Region. We also want to encourage the community to come forward. If you have been victimized, or you're aware, or you have any information in relation to the incidents that we're seeing, please contact us immediately. We have established a hotline for the extortions. If you also wish to call and share information anonymously, obviously through Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS. With that, again, thank you for being here. Be pleased to share the microphone with Superintendent Shelley Thompson.
Thank you, Chief, and good morning. I'm Superintendent Shelley Thompson, the officer in charge of Peel Regional Police 21 Division and the Extortion Investigative Task Force. We recognize that the rise in extortion threats in our region targeting South Asian business owners is a significant concern for our community. The intimidation and disregard for public safety directed towards our residents and business owners is unacceptable, and it will not be tolerated. In response to these incidences, the Extortion Investigative Task Force was mobilized in an effort to identify, apprehend, and hold accountable the individuals responsible for these crimes. We are still early in the investigation, and due to the judicial process, we are limited in what we can tell you, but we did feel that it was very important to speak to you, the community, and encourage people to come forward to tell us what has happened so that we can investigate the matter to the fullest extent. As of today, the team is currently investigating 29 extortions that date back to the beginning of November 2023. Of those 29, 9 of the incidents have involved shootings with multiple rounds being fired. In most incidents, the premise has been unoccupied, and we currently have no reported injuries. The method in which these extortion attempts are occurring do have similarities. The businesses that are being victimized are South Asian-owned, but vary. They include, and they're not limited to, restaurants and bakeries, trucking and transport companies, independent used car dealerships, and jewelry stores. The victims are contacted by traditional means like phone calls, but web-based and social media platforms like WhatsApp video calls is being used as well. There is a demand for money under the threat of violence to them, their business, or their associates. All of the information used in the threats can be found on open sources on the internet. The financial demands range from victim to victim, but they're often specified in Canadian currency or Indian rupees, with payment being made in either cash or a money transfer method. We are here to share some of the initial results of our team's investigative efforts, which have disrupted the operation of several criminals extorting community members within Peel Region. Again, as this is ongoing, we must protect the integrity of the investigation. We continue to work with our partner agencies and law enforcement to address these incidents. This is evident in the first investigation that I'm going to be sharing with you, which was conducted in support with the Ontario Provincial Police in Caledon. On January 24th, 2024, members of the task force executed a search warrant at a residence in the city of Brampton in relation to the extortion of a Caledon business owner. These incidences occurred in Brampton and Caledon in December of 2023 and January of 2024. They include extortions, arson, threats, and firearm offenses. As a result of this warrant, there were 4 individuals that have been arrested and charged. There were over 50 cell phones that were seized, 11 laptops, a large sum of cash, and a firearm with several rounds of ammunition. The first accused was Gaganajit Singh, a 23-year-old male from Brampton, who is allegedly the person responsible for making the extortion demands on 2 separate incidents. He was subsequently charged with the following offenses: 2 counts of extortion, utter threats to cause death, discharge firearm with intent, arson causing damage to property, fraud over $5,000, along with several other firearm-related offenses. Anmaldeep Singh, a 23-year-old male from Mississauga, was charged with the following offenses: fraud over $5,000. In addition, he's also facing several other firearm-related offenses. Hajmeet Kaur, a 25-year-old female from Brampton, and Imanjot Kaur, a 21-year-old female, were both charged with multiple firearm-related offenses. On Friday, January 26, 2024, an additional arrest was made in relation to a separate extortion investigation that was conducted by the team. The victim was present at their business in the city of Brampton when they received a phone call and threatening messages to send a large amount of money or they would be shot. Investigators identified Arundeep Tind, a 39-year-old male of no fixed address, as being the person responsible for allegedly making the extortion demand. He was subsequently charged with 1 count of extortion. I want to reaffirm that these acts of intimidation on our community members will not be tolerated. We take our responsibility to ensure the public feels safe and supported very seriously. With the assistance of our community, we have made arrests, and we will continue to make efforts to hold those can't speak to whether or not the investigators have had conversations with CSIS. I do know that we do have open lines with law enforcement in India.
Chief, over here is next, please. Megan Fitzpatrick, CBC News. You said 29 cases are under investigation right now, but do you have a sense that this is actually underreported and it might be happening more broadly and people are too fearful to report it?
Yes, absolutely. So as I explained, we do have 29 active investigations that are on the go right now. We do believe that there are people who are scared and are not coming forward, which is why we are, doing, one of the reasons we're doing this is to put it out there to the community. We are looking for information. If you've been a victim, if you have information to assist the police, that you contact the hotline or the Crime Stoppers, or you can email us. But we certainly do think and believe that there are people who have not come forward and are either scared or have their own reason as to why they haven't reached out to the police.
Can you elaborate on those open lines of communication with the government of India? What have you been talking to them about? Have you asked them to participate in investigations? Are they cooperating? Mayor Brown, you specifically asked for the federal government to talk to their counterparts in India. You also have a lot of contacts in India, so have you been talking to people over there? If both of you could comment a bit about your involvement with conversations with people.
Again, I can't really answer any more other than the lines of communication are open to India. As I stated, these are early in the investigations, and the investigators at this point are having conversations with law enforcement agencies in India, but I can't put specifics as to what is being said and what is being discussed due to the integrity of the investigations going on.
But would you acknowledge that unless there's meaningful work that's done on the ground in India, then you're just kind of playing whack-a-mole with low-level figures here in Peel Region?
Well, I mean, the investigators are working and having conversations with what is happening over in India, but in terms of what conversations they're having and the substance and the content of the conversations, I can't comment on that right now.
But do you acknowledge that this is where these threats are being controlled and emanating from?
I can't add clarity to that right now because it's early in the investigation, and so we're still trying to sift through stuff to see if there's a connection to India. Right now, with the information that we have, that we are working with, there is not. So we're still having conversations, and again, we are early in the investigative stages, so we're still trying to work through that to see if there is information that is, I mean, we're working through the information currently.
You haven't established a firm connection to India? Is that what you're saying?
Correct. We have not at this point in time with the information that we currently have.
Good morning, Courtney Hales with CP24. Can you speak to the significance of the arrests of the 5 individuals? Do you believe they could be responsible for other extortion cases, or do you believe there are many others involved in this in Peel Region?
Again, it's early in the investigation. I can't speak to, they're trying to go through the evidence to see if they're responsible for other ones. It's still early in the investigation and I can't comment on that.
Follow up on my colleague's question, this perhaps being underreported. Why is it you think people might hesitate to contact police if they are on the receiving end of a threat?
I think as the chief explained, there's a lot of fear within the community, right? It's instilled a lot of fear, and so people are hesitant to come forward. What I can say is that we are moving forward, we are making arrests, we are charging people, and so I am urging people to come forward despite their hesitations. We do have lines open, communication for them to call, the hotline and the email. I can't speak as to what their particular reason is as to why they're not, but I think fear probably plays a huge part in it at this point.
Hi, Faiza with City News here. You talk about the victims here living in fear, that there's a lot of fear. Can you expand on that and touch on how that's manifested and impacted their daily lives? My colleague Adrian mentioned that some people are wearing bulletproof vests. Can you talk about this fear in the community more in detail?
At this point in time, I can't speak to the specifics of any of the victims or the accused in this, so no, sorry.
Sorry, this will be the last question.
I have a follow-up. These people whom we arrested, because seems they are 21, 22 years of age for individuals, what they came here on a study visa, which colleges they went, Did they completed their studies? Because there were reports that many 20,000 students, they never attended any college, university. So any more details in the investigation you have? Also, we would like to see here two leaders we have here, Chief Nish and Mayor Brown. What level, because break and enters are also happening, and what public should do, because it's scary videos, 4 a.m. in the morning, armed people enter. So first on these individuals, thank you.
So I'll address the accused parties, and in terms of the accused, because they are charged and the matters are before the court, I can't speak to whether or not how they're here in Canada. So I'm going to have to put that one to rest right now, just so that we're not jeopardizing the judicial process when they come before the courts and tainting the process.
And then I think, you know, here's the reality is, today is obviously to keep this issue out front. Second part is to show and indicate to the community with some confidence that we are able to arrest individuals involved with these patterns of behaviors. So it's incumbent upon us to make sure that that is communicated as an example of our response. So the fear which they rightfully may have needs to be couched with you know, the positive action that's happening concurrent to that. Now, for individuals that are worried, we would be happy to have them connect for prevention-related tips and how to protect and keep their property safe. We have multiple resources that help bolster and strengthen people's sense of security. You know, there's a conflation of multiple issues that are happening in the community. We know that it's not just here in Peel, whether it be auto thefts or those type of issues. So, I mean, all of them require a response in us to assist the public in making sure that they do what they can within their control to ensure that they're safe. So really, that's the best I can comment on that. Sure.
Nitin, since you asked, what I would say is, from residents who have felt helpless, this is why you come forward. Because if you come forward, the police are able to have that investigation, and they have success. Again and again and again, when you come forward to the Peel Police, they have the tools, they've got the capacity to find the people responsible. And obviously, people are making payments. People are falling victim. Otherwise, it wouldn't continue to be replicated in Peel and across Canada and the U.S. And so if these crimes go unabated, then they'll continue to flourish, continue to grow. This hopefully is a message to those victims that you're not helpless. When you come forward, real results happen, and it's a win for public safety.
This concludes our update. Thank you for your time. And should you have any further inquiries that we did not get to, please send them to the media inbox. Thank you.